Let's jump to this story. We got this tweet from Libs of TikTok. Breaking news. Frederick, Maryland Mayor Michael O'Connor announces he's creating a fund using tax dollars to help illegal immigrants pay legal fees to fight deportations once Trump takes office. Let's play it.
In many regards, this election cycle did not go as I had hoped.
In response to Trump's national immigration policies, Frederick Mayor Michael O'Connor pledging to carve out space in his local budget for a legal advocacy fund, which would use tax dollars to pay undocumented immigrants attorneys' fees as they fight deportation.
Ensuring they have the legal support they need to stand strong and remain in this community they have chosen to call home.
O'Connor explaining his intention is to allocate the money to organizations already providing similar legal services, helping them expand the number of people they're able to support, although he's still determining the exact dollar amount to set aside. Some residents we spoke with supportive of the end goal.
I believe a lot of non-immigrant people also contribute to the country as well.
But all of them against their tax dollars footing the bill.
I'm torn.
I don't like the idea. I'd rather our taxpayer money go towards American citizens.
You know, you break the law, it's just what happens. Nobody helped me pay for my attorney fees when I break the law. So why should we be paying for theirs out of taxpayer money?
But this comes at a cost. And this could be a very large cost for Frederick. And quite frankly, Frederick can't afford it.
So, Frederick is one of the major metros around where we are. We go there all the time.
Frederick, Maryland, huh?
Frederick, Maryland, that's right. And they fly a Progress Pride flag. They do over City Hall, right?
I think so.
Pretty sure.
Frederick has gotten crazy since, because I grew up in Maryland and I would always go there. It's not the same Frederick.
So I haven't been in New York. We went to New York a couple years ago, and we did like the Times Square thing. I got to tell you, Frederick is fried. Like, it is a bad place. And I feel bad because there's good businesses, and we go there, and there's some good restaurants. But this place is, you know what? I take that back. I hold all of the people of Frederick to a degree responsible for sitting back and letting this governance take over in this city. Because it is gone overboard to the point where after this election, the mayor is saying we're going to take tax dollars to pay for non-citizens' legal defense so they can stay here and consume more from the tax base. Is insane.
What would make this guy double down? I mean, you look at everybody. Look at all the pushback. I mean, there was a mandate given this election here. Why is this guy double? I understand that Maryland is 65% Democrat. It's very heavy.
Western Maryland wants to secede and join West Virginia.
Okay, I'm
because of the DC area.
For that. It's definitely for the DC area. And but looking at this, I don't know if you saw Tom Homan talking on was it Fox earlier today?
Oh, that was great.
Yeah,
he's like the Denver mayor says that he's willing to go to jail. Well, we agree. Yeah. I'll put him there.
Yeah, he said try it. We tried try it. Go for it.
That's exactly what the federal government should do. Mm-hmm. They should withhold federal funding. They do it so that way they get so age like alcohol sales
and for speed limits on the roads.
Speed limits and other stuff like that. So it's completely normal. It's not outside of it's not like this is
It's tied into highway funding and stuff, right?
Yeah. So it wouldn't be unprecedented to say, look, you're not complying with federal law, so we're going to withhold federal funds. And if there are any people, whether they be in government or whether they be just protesters that are going to interfere with ICE or whatever carrying out their job, arrest them too.
Right.
Put them in jail.
This is one of the things that they struggle with. Like, look, Trump really doesn't like... in 2020, when the riots were going on, he offered a lot of support to a lot of these cities, and they said no. And he refused to just send in the National Guard because he doesn't want to be called the fascist that they're going to call him anyway. Right? It doesn't matter. So at a certain point, a lot of people have discussions about not actually acting in the best interest of your voters because you keep trying to win this phantom vote from people that are never going to support you. They're going to call you a fascist no matter what. They're going to call you a Nazi no matter what. At a certain point, you're going to have to act in a way that's going to get you called that. You're going to be called that anyways. Mm-hmm. This might be one of those situations where they have to consider it.
And I think Trump learned this time around. I truly do. Yeah. With what I've seen, everything that I've heard from him, the people that I've talked to, the people surrounding him, and just off the record conversations, I truly believe he learned from 2020, what happened in 2020, because he wants to see the good in people. I genuinely believe that. He wants to look at these mayors and these governors and think that they are doing right by their people, but they are not. They are not. They are doing right for themselves, and that's it. These are sleazebags. He doesn't give a crap about anybody in his community.
He wants people to like him, I think, is the thing about Donald Trump. He's always been liked. He's always been the most popular guy. No one's really ever, the people that dislike him were always like in a business sense, and it was always like, because he was a hard-nosed businessman. And look, I've said this before, but I really, really wish and I hope that Donald Trump can be the Donald Trump that the left is afraid of. I want to see Donald Trump be the Donald Trump that the left has been saying, oh, he's this, he's that. Because if he's 1/10 of what they say, he will actually get some really good policies done. And he'll ignore the people that are going to call him all the names that they're going to call him, because they're going to call him the names regardless. It doesn't matter what he does. He could be as soft as a bunny when it comes to policy, but because he speaks in a way that they dislike, and because he's not one of the preferred candidates, he's going to be treated and called all the worst names. We've seen that clearly for the entire 8 years that Donald Trump has been involved in politics, maybe longer. But still, there's no reason to hold back and say, well, I have to worry about being reelected, or I have to worry about this or worry about that. No, go in and get the job done that you were elected to get done. The American people want it. 70% of Americans say that they're okay with deportation. So start with the worst criminals and work your way through.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's not going to be the most, this is going to be a little bit of a controversial opinion, but, I know Rand Paul said something the other day about not using the military for mass deportations. I love Rand Paul. I've known him for years. I mean, I'm from Kentucky originally, so I worked in politics, in state politics. So, and he's a great guy, well-intentioned. I disagree with him on that. I think we have to. I don't think we have a choice, because, we're cutting straight through the bureaucracy. The commander-in-chief going straight to the military and removing the invaders. That's the way I look at it. That's what I think we should be doing, and it should be done, pretty quickly.
If the military are necessary to take on the gangs, I might be able to be convinced. But to be honest with you,
Tren de Aragua needs to be. Yeah, but I'd rather them be here than in Karachi.
Look, there are entry teams that the FBI have that are extremely skilled, that train regularly. You don't have to have the military, and
we have to get control on the FBI.
Yeah, well, that's fine. But if you look at the teams that are actually the door kickers, you can't tell the difference between the FBI and the military, except for the fact the FBI has FBI on their stuff. They're all as militarized as any infantry unit in the military. You don't need to have them. And to be honest with you, if you're dealing with actual entry teams, the FBI entry teams practice CQB far more than your standard average infantry guy in the military. So there is the personnel, and they have the tactics. They have the ability to do it. You don't need to actually use the military. You have all of the assets you need. I mean, ICE has militarized security forces. The FBI has militarized security forces, and there is any number of or umpteen different government agencies that have militarized security forces or police forces. The DEA, and local police, all kinds of assets. State police, if your mayor of the town won't do it, state police have SWAT. He has plenty of options. He doesn't actually have to use the military.
Did you see how much bureaucracy that you were just going through with that example? Like saying we got level by level by level by level by level. There's a lot more punishment for somebody in the military that refuses an order by a general or commander-in-chief.
You're going to get Congress people involved. You're going to get governors saying, no, you can't use our National Guard here because I'm in charge of the National Guard. You're going to get all kinds of pushback from the military side as well. Not that you're wrong.
Trump need only invoke the Insurrection Act to override governors and take control.
Federalize the Guard.
Right. And all that has to happen is Trump says, you are hereby instructed that these people breaking the law will be deported. If they say we will not enforce the law, he goes, Insurrection Act.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, good luck. I mean, if you're a general in the U.S. Army and you are refusing that lawful order, look what's going to happen to you. I mean, it's very different if you're a bureaucrat that's refusing an order. Very, very different. That's why I'm saying we take that all out of the way. We got to do this soon. We're running out of time here.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've said it multiple times on the show that you got about 18 months. Before election.
I don't know that I agree with that after the latest report on the DNC firing 2/3 of its staff. I'm kind of thinking they need to be prepping for the midterms right now. And if they just laid off 2/3 of their staff, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, that sounds abnormal. Yeah. Is this something they normally do?
How do you recover from that too? 2/3 of that's a hell of a lot of people. We're talking 10,000 plus people. for the DNC across all of their different subsidiaries?
I have no I couldn't.
That's a lot of 2/3 of their people. That sounds outrageous to me, but I don't know. You'd seem like you would go full steam ahead, but are donors pulling out? That's one of the things. Like, are the cash cows, are the big money people, are they stopping? You see, is Mark Zuckerberg still funneling money into the DNC, or does he see that as, Mark Zuckerberg's not stupid, right? I disagree with him on most things, but he's pouring so many billions of dollars into this stuff, and has he stopped because he sees the writing on the wall? He said he has, but has he actually? It seems like if the DNC doesn't have any money to pay their staffers, which are the first people. Tim, you run a business.
So real quick, I did check. It is reportedly common for post-election layoffs. However, the recent layoffs have been notably extensive, reporting approximately 2/3 of the DNC staff were laid off with little notice and no severance. The scale of layoffs has drawn significant criticism from the DNC staff union, which we did look at. So what I'm saying there is, this definitely seemed to be exorbitant. They do post-election layoffs because we all talk about this in the media, in the news. After elections, viewership declines. People are less interested. They're fatigued. But you need to start your preparations for the midterms right now.
Yeah.
They need to know who they're going to be running because they need to line up not only the candidates, they need to make sure that they're ready to go. They need to find donations. They need to figure out which PACs are going to be behind which candidates. They need to start mapping out all the districts they need to go after. They got to start mapping out where Republicans won by thin margins and they can try and recover those districts. But they just laid off 2/3 of their staff.
How do you do it?
That's why I'm like, at first we were like, Trump's got 18 months because once you get the squishy Republicans into election season, they're going to cower. Now, I don't know that I agree with that at a certain point. So we all agreed on that. Then I said, yeah, but you know what? With a popular mandate, we're going to tell these squishy Republicans, you got two choices. You back Trump's agenda or you resign. Because if you think you're going to play a middle of the road and pander to Democrats, then the Trump supporters will make sure you lose. Right. So you either go for Trump or just resign now. And if that means a Democrat wins, ain't nobody going to tolerate weak Republicans. But now that we're hearing the DNC's basically just collapsed, how are they going to do any kind of preparation for a midterm?
Well, you got to think about that. How do you get people to donate to you when all the headlines, even from the legacy media, are, the Democrat Party is in free fall and they're laying everybody off and, there's no plan for the midterm. How do you raise money with that sort of message? What are you sending out? I mean, besides Kamala's emails for her recount stuff.
With donors already being pissed.
Yeah, so because they were lied to. They were defrauded. I would argue that they were defrauded.
So there's a story from the Hill. We won't dive too much in, but just Harris and Waltz are supposed to address top donors.
This is a new article?
No, this is from the 21st.
Oh my God!
Yes, on the 21st. So they should be, I believe, have already addressed them, dealing with the fact that they burned money and just lost miserably. Mm-hmm. They're in the minority. What's funny is they were acting like.
In many regards, this election cycle.
Garbage. They were arguing that the Republicans were on the ropes and were doomed. Donald Trump would be the death of the Republican Party. That's what many of these liberal personalities were saying. Yep. Now the Democrats have just laid off 2/3 of their staff, burned through $1 billion, and we don't even know what they're going to be doing in the next year or two.
And now the donors know that they were lied to. Mm-hmm. The donors know that they were lied to. They were told that Kamala had a chance.
Not even that. The donors know that you can't throw good money after bed. That they're saying, I can donate to Democrats and flush down the toilet, or I can, go on vacation.
Yeah.
You pick.
I mean, look, the Democrats have left. I imagine the Democrats have left the donors with a very bad taste in their mouth because of the fact that they had a candidate that performed so poorly, and that they were not, forthcoming with honest information. So I don't know that they're going to and also because again, the whole country had a significant shift. Now, usually there's a pushback when the midterms. Usually, if there's a significant push one way, the midterms there'll be a push the other way. So I wouldn't be super surprised. I don't know how many seats are up for re-election or whatever for the Senate and stuff, but that kind of stuff will matter when it'll come into the equation. But at the end of the day, the U.S. broadly really has kind of signaled that there were a lot of policies the Democrats did that they didn't like. You look at the way that the way that markets are behaving now, they expect positive results from Donald Trump. So we'll see.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.